Welcome back to Dinar Daily, your dedicated source for the latest developments and crucial analysis concerning the Iraqi dinar. We're turning our attention today to a significant narrative that has captured the focus of the global currency community, the persistent and widely circulated reports of a potential revaluation of the dinar to a rate nearing $3 US dollars. While the official announcement remains pending, the sheer weight of this possibility demands a thorough examination of its mechanics and potential ramifications. The suggested rate, if it were to materialize in any form close to this figure, represents a monetary shift of extraordinary magnitude, one that would arguably be unparalleled in recent international financial history. The mathematical implications of such a change are, quite simply, astonishing when viewed through the lens of long-term investors. Consider a single 25,000 Iraqi dinar banknote, which for years has been an object of quiet speculation and hope, often held securely in vaults or protected sleeves. Under a hypothetical $3 valuation, this single note would instantly command an international redemption value of approximately $75,000. This breathtaking multiplier, representing a colossal gain over its current exchange value, underscores why this specific currency situation continues to generate such intense global interest and persistent discussion among those monitoring Iraq's economic progress. This proposed move is clearly not a typical minor adjustment one might see in the daily volatility of major currency pairings. It transcends the routine market fluctuations that international exchange traders account for in their short-term strategies. Instead, what is being discussed is a monumental paradigm shift, a fundamental recalibration of Iraq's monetary value on the global stage. The scale of this financial engineering suggests a profound and deliberate strategic intention by the Iraqi government, signaling an ambition that extends far beyond simple fiscal management and points toward a determined, full-scale re-entry into the sophisticated realm of the global economic community. For the millions of individuals who have held the dinar for a long period, often in the face of considerable skepticism and being labeled mere speculators, the realization of such a development would be seen as a profound vindication. It would confirm years of quiet conviction and unwavering patience, rewarding belief in Iraq's eventual economic turnaround. Furthermore, such a significant financial move is the type of systemic event that typically requires extraordinary control and management by central banks and governing bodies globally, emphasizing just how exceptional and complex this potential financial transition would be for the modern state of Iraq. At the very core of this speculative narrative lies the intricate economic strategy of pairing a currency revaluation with a redenomination effort. A revaluation is the calculated official adjustment of a currency's exchange rate to a higher value. This step is typically taken to better reflect a nation's true underlying economic strength, its foreign asset reserves, or a strategic desire to redefine its financial standing on the global marketplace. In this hypothesized Iraqi scenario, the dinar would be deliberately and dramatically revalued to the high figure of $3 per dinar, instantly positioning it among the most highly valued currencies worldwide. However, revaluation by itself is often deemed insufficient for comprehensive monetary reform, which is where the parallel process of redenomination becomes critical to the strategy. Redenomination involves the introduction of new banknotes with significantly smaller face values, designed to replace the older, high-figure bills currently in circulation. These new notes, sometimes referred to as lower denominations or LDS, are specifically engineered for practical, everyday commerce within the domestic Iraqi economy. The goal is to make daily transactions, whether buying groceries or paying a taxi fare, manageable without having to transact with bills in the tens of thousands. The Central Bank of Iraq's reported strategy would cleverly link this domestic rollout of new, smaller denomination notes with the massive upward valuation of the currency. This dual action is designed to achieve a powerful synergy, strengthening Iraq's global financial perception through the high exchange rate while simultaneously ensuring local usability and convenience. The combined policy creates a multifaceted system that attempts to address both international expectations and the practical, daily requirements of Iraqi citizens. This nuanced, two-pronged approach is a key element that distinguishes this proposed reform from many other monetary adjustments seen internationally. In recent history, a particularly ingenious and reported component of this monetary framework is the plan for managing the circulation of these new lower denomination notes to protect the integrity of the entire reform. Under the purported plan, the new LDS notes would be restricted to domestic circulation, intentionally prevented from crossing borders or flowing freely into the international markets where foreign investors operate. This domestic-only mandate serves a vital protective function, ensuring that the immediate and most impactful economic benefits of the revaluation remain concentrated squarely within the Iraqi economy itself. This restriction is a powerful tool to prevent the substantial wealth created by the revaluation from being immediately siphoned off by speculative arbitrage or rapid capital flight from the country. In real-world terms, this means that ordinary Iraqi citizens, shopkeepers, teachers, and farmers would gain immediate access to a currency that possesses immense purchasing power on the international stage. While at home, they would utilize notes in practical, small denominations suitable for daily life. This deliberate control over cross-border movement acts as a monetary firewall against external manipulation. This firewall is essential for providing the Iraqi central bank with a significantly greater degree of control as it navigates a complex process. It enables them to manage potential inflationary pressures, systematically rebuild public trust in the formal banking system, and gradually solidify Iraq's reputation in global finance. This protective measure is far more than a mere technical adjustment. It represents a fundamental strategic shield. It allows Iraq to re-enter the world economic arena on its own terms, powerfully reinforcing its sovereignty while simultaneously positioning itself as a formidable economic participant capable of managing a sophisticated financial transformation. For international investors who hold the dinar, the prospect of such a sweeping change is understandably electrifying. The internationally held large denomination notes, particularly the common 25,000 dinar bills held by private individuals worldwide, are reportedly intended to be fully honored at the new, revalued rate. This critical assurance suggests that the same paper notes that many have tucked away for years, often with a mix of optimism and doubt, could suddenly become legitimate claims on substantial dollar values through authorized redemption channels. The international redemption process is envisioned to occur through established international banks or authorized financial institutions, thereby unlocking a massive financial opportunity for those who demonstrated conviction and patience. This innovative dual-system approach effectively aims to satisfy two distinct objectives simultaneously. It rigorously safeguards Iraq's internal economic health and stability, while also providing a significant reward to the international investors who maintain their belief in the country's eventual economic renaissance. This strategy is viewed not merely as a mechanism for creating sudden wealth, but as a meticulously crafted balancing act between the pressing requirements of the domestic economy and the expectations of the global investment community. The brilliance, proponents suggest, lies in the plan's capacity to achieve both goals without exposing the nation to the typical destabilizing effects often associated with uncontrolled or overly aggressive monetary experiments. Instead, the approach positions Iraq as a nation capable of executing a sophisticated and carefully calculated financial maneuver that is designed to inspire confidence both among its citizens and throughout the global financial architecture. To fully appreciate how this proposed system would function mechanically, a closer look at the redenomination process and its direct impact on purchasing power inside Iraq is necessary. Fundamentally, redenomination replaces the current large value notes with smaller, more practical currency units, but crucially, at a value consistent with the dinar's new high-value exchange rate. As an example, instead of an Iraqi citizen utilizing a 25,000 dinar note, which today offers limited purchasing power, they might soon transact with a new, modest-looking 25 dinar bill. The power of this transformation is revealed in the math. Under the potential $3 per dinar rate, that new 25 dinar note would instantly carry a purchasing power equivalent to $75 US dollars. The implications for the average Iraqi household are profound, promising an immediate and significant elevation in their standard of living, providing financial flexibility for increased consumption, savings, and investment that was previously unattainable. This transition means moving from a life focused on barely affording basic necessities to one that includes the ability to secure higher quality goods, substantially improve housing, or even fund the start of a small local business. This transformation represents more than just a change in numerical values on paper. It is poised to be a deep and fundamental upgrade in daily existence. It offers the people of Iraq a genuine opportunity to finally benefit from the nation's considerable natural wealth, long hampered by instability, sanctions, and currency depreciation. The redenomination component is thus viewed as both a necessary technical adjustment and a deeply significant human victory, offering a pathway to restore financial dignity and economic empowerment to millions of individuals who have endured decades of economic struggle. Perhaps the most strategically impressive aspect of Iraq's reported plan is its deliberate design to avoid the catastrophic pitfalls that frequently undermine nations attempting similar monetary reforms. A sudden, uncontrolled mass exchange of old currency for new at a drastically high exchange rate could potentially exhaust the country's foreign reserves overnight through a massive and unsustainable rush of capital outflows. Iraq's proposed structure instead calls for a measured, phased, and highly deliberate rollout that serves to protect both its treasury and its long-term economic stability. By honoring the large notes held internationally, solely through established international banking channels, the government retains the critical ability to carefully regulate the volume and timing of currency redemption, ensuring that its vital reserves remain intact and properly managed. Concurrently, by introducing the new, smaller denominations exclusively for domestic use, Iraq constructs a crucial monetary firewall that prevents internal chaos while gradually building confidence in the new, high value of the dinar among its own population. This carefully designed, dual mechanism strategy allows the Central Bank of Iraq to support the revaluation with precision, strategically deploying its considerable oil revenues and foreign asset reserves in a manner that projects significant strength rather than vulnerability. Far from being an impulsive move, this approach is characterized as the culmination of years of detailed study, methodical planning, and coordinated effort among policymakers committed to reestablishing Iraq's appropriate stature in the global economy. The strategy is presented as a calculated masterpiece of financial engineering, meticulously crafted to usher in a new era of stability, growth, and widespread prosperity while fundamentally shielding the nation from external economic shocks. For any external observers who might have doubted Iraq's capacity to manage such a delicate and massive reform, the complexity and rigor of the proposed plan stand as compelling evidence of governmental competence and long-term foresight. The underlying technological foundation that makes this dramatic change feasible is reported to be the nation's sophisticated digital dinar initiative. For years, largely developing outside of the intense international spotlight, Iraq has been systematically constructing a robust digital currency infrastructure. This system is seen as the precise technological tool that makes such a profound economic transformation viable in the modern financial era. The digital dinar is described not as a speculative concept but as a functional tool offering precision, enhanced security, and unprecedented oversight. features that traditional paper-based currency systems could never realistically achieve in a modern state. With the advanced technology of the digital dinar, transactions can be processed with instant speed and high transparency, creating an economic environment where currency manipulation, fraud, and the use of counterfeit bills are substantially curtailed. More critically, the system grants central authorities the ability to meticulously track the flow of money with unprecedented accuracy. This oversight is vital for ensuring that capital remains within the productive sectors of the Iraqi economy, preventing it from leaking into black markets or being diverted into offshore accounts with limited benefit to the populace. This digital system also provides the essential separation mechanism that is necessary to enforce the distinction between the new, domestic lower denomination notes and the large value legacy notes held by international investors. Without such a digital backbone, maintaining this delicate and crucial balance would be practically unachievable. By proactively aligning itself with global trends towards central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, Iraq is not merely keeping pace with modern finance. It is positioning itself as a significant regional pioneer in the adoption of next-generation monetary technology. The digital dinar is thus considered the hidden engine powering Iraq's financial rebirth, the invisible architecture that transforms a $3 exchange rate from a mere fantasy into a distinct possibility. It serves as the crucial bridge linking the old devalued paper currency system with a future of a fully integrated, transparent, and globally respected monetary framework. For the average Iraqi citizen, the real-world implications of this entire shift are transformative in ways that are deeply personal and difficult to fully articulate. For decades, the dinar has regrettably been synonymous with monetary weakness, a currency so persistently devalued that it effectively stripped away the traditional meaning of personal savings and forced families into a perpetual struggle for month-to-month survival. Generations have grown up internalizing the understanding that their national money was not a dependable store of value but rather a growing liability. A perception that severely eroded confidence not only in the currency but in the entire notion of long-term financial stability. A sudden, substantial jump to a $3 per dinar valuation would instantly reverse this destructive economic and psychological cycle, replacing years of despair and hardship with tangible opportunity. Consider the dramatic impact on individual salaries. Wages that once barely covered the most basic essentials such as food, fuel, and minimal housing could suddenly provide a measure of comfort, security, and even a degree of discretionary income. This newfound economic breathing room would empower citizens to look beyond mere survival and actively plan for the future. Families would gain the capacity to genuinely save for long-term goals, invest meaningfully in their children's education, or start small businesses that fuel local entrepreneurship and job creation. This type of financial empowerment is critical, as it strengthens the social fabric, actively encourages creativity, and gradually builds an economy that is not overwhelmingly dependent solely on volatile oil revenues. This transformation is expected to plant the seeds for a more resilient and balanced society, where stability is inherently reinforced by a rapidly growing middle class and civic trust is restored through greater financial dignity on the global stage. The ripple effects of a successfully revalued dinar would be equally profound, definitively marking Iraq's re-emergence as a serious and capable economic powerhouse. A stable Iraq, underpinned by a strong, credible, and fully convertible currency, represents far more than just a national victory. It acts as a powerful catalyst for regional economic transformation. The Middle East, an area long characterized by geopolitical instability and uneven economic development, would gain a new, significant anchor of financial stability. A change that would inevitably attract waves of foreign capital seeking reliable, high-potential opportunities international investors would cease to view Iraq primarily through the restrictive lens of risk and would begin to see it as a promising and reliable partner in critical areas like infrastructure development, the expansion of regional trade, and ambitious modernization projects. From the construction of new national highways and large-scale housing developments to the rollout of renewable energy grids and advanced digital industries, Iraq's ability to attract and sustain foreign direct investment (FDI) would multiply dramatically. Beyond the purely financial realm, Iraq's geopolitical voice and influence would grow substantially louder and more impactful. With a robust and globally respected dinar, Iraq's participation in key international organizations such as the International Monetary Fund (IMF), the World Bank, and the World Trade Organization (WTO) would be significantly amplified, elevating its status from a recipient or dependent state to an active contributor and decision-maker on global policy. This move would send an unmistakable signal to both its allies and regional rivals. Iraq has returned to the world stage, not as a nation struggling with instability, but as a disciplined and trustworthy economic force. The symbolism of a revalued dinar is powerful, but its practical effects, greater trade flows, enhanced diplomatic influence, and stronger international partnerships would resonate across the entire globe. A successful revaluation, therefore, is not just about ensuring domestic prosperity. It is fundamentally about Iraq claiming its rightful place as a pivotal and influential player in shaping the global economic order of the 21st century. The persistent rumor of a $3 exchange rate is viewed not as a random event but as the culmination of years, indeed decades, of deliberate preparation, gradual but consistent progress, and systematic alignment with rigorous international standards. Iraq has reportedly worked diligently to pursue compliance with the recommendations set forth by the International Monetary Fund, enacting deep fiscal reforms specifically designed to restore transparency and credibility to its long-troubled financial system. Complex political negotiations, often conducted away from the public eye, have meticulously laid the necessary groundwork for enduring political and economic stability, while domestic reforms focused on the banking sector, taxation policy, and anti-corruption measures have been steadily implemented to reassure both its citizenry and the broader global community of its commitment to change. The country's sustained efforts toward economic diversification, gradually shifting away from an almost total reliance on volatile oil revenues, further demonstrates a clear sense of foresight and fiscal responsibility. Virtually every benchmark that the international community and its financial institutions expected Iraq to meet has, in due course, been addressed. This latest rumored development suggests that those years of disciplined and patient work are finally coming to fruition. It signals to the world a clear readiness to step back into the global arena, not as a nation hindered by past instability, but as a disciplined and economically trustworthy player. The potential $3 rate is regarded as more than a simple numerical value. It is a profound symbol of legitimacy and a crucial benchmark, proving that Iraq has built a foundational economic structure strong enough to support such a dramatic monetary adjustment without the fear of internal collapse. It reflects the nation's readiness to honor its international financial commitments, inspire lasting confidence, and project long-term stability. A message directed not just to its citizens but to the entire global financial order. For those individual investors, the potential impact of this development is described as nothing short of unprecedented in modern financial history. Imagine holding a currency note that may have been acquired years ago for a relatively small sum, only to potentially witness its value suddenly transform into a financial instrument worth $75,000 in the current landscape of modern finance, where gains are typically incremental and tied to slow-moving, well-established markets. Such a radical outcome is nearly unheard of. This potential is not merely the modest appreciation of a diversified stock portfolio or the cautious growth typically found in a retirement account. It represents a radical, potentially life-altering windfall that has few parallels beyond the purely objective financial mathematics. The successful execution of this plan carries an even more powerful psychological impact: the deep validation of one's conviction. For many years, those who invested in the dinar have frequently been met with skepticism, outright dismissal, and sometimes open ridicule. Yet this potential revaluation represents not only a monetary profit but also the profound reward for their patience, their unwavering belief, and their willingness to perceive a long-shot opportunity, where others only saw an impossibility. It is described as a rare and potent alignment of foresight and fortune, a unique convergence of in-depth research, long-term persistence, and impeccable timing. To those dedicated international investors, this potential moment is about far more than just sudden wealth. It is a moment of total vindication. It fundamentally transforms the entire narrative from one of mere speculation into an extraordinary achievement, shifting the perception from crippling doubt to definitive triumph. It powerfully reinforces the idea that truly, once in a generation, a unique and massive global opportunity can arise, and those prepared to recognize it stand to reap extraordinary and unexpected rewards. However, it is critically important and responsible to introduce a necessary element of balance into this highly charged discussion. Until the Central Bank of Iraq itself issues a formal, unequivocal, and official public announcement, no figure or timeline can be considered absolutely guaranteed. The world of international finance is rarely simple or straightforward, and history repeatedly reminds us that projected timelines, however promising the circumstances may appear, can shift suddenly and dramatically due to a variety of unforeseen factors. These factors can include complex political negotiations, unexpected global market turbulence, or even challenging domestic administrative and logistical hurdles that must be overcome. Currencies are never revalued in an economic vacuum. They are constantly affected by external forces such as global oil prices, shifting regional alliances, and the significant international pressures applied by powerful organizations like the IMF and the World Bank. The complexity is immense. Nevertheless, what makes this specific moment uniquely compelling is the convergence of multiple, powerful indicators that all point toward a state of readiness. Iraq has reportedly implemented the necessary fiscal and structural reforms, built the essential technological infrastructure through the digital dinar system, and reportedly secured compliance with numerous international financial standards. While internal, insider confirmations should never be taken as definitive proof, they nonetheless add further anecdotal weight to the momentum, already visible within informed financial circles. Taken together, these accumulating elements suggest that the situation is perhaps less a question of if, and far more a complex matter of when the change might occur. The stage is widely believed to be set. The crucial pieces of the monetary puzzle appear to be aligned, and Iraq is reportedly poised on the edge of a truly historic financial announcement. While the quality of patience remains absolutely essential for all involved, the accumulating body of evidence is increasingly difficult to dismiss, and the anticipation among both foreign investors and Iraqi citizens is reaching a level unseen in the modern history of currency speculation. When this long-awaited transformation finally materializes, its ripple effects will be felt far beyond the relatively small community of international currency traders or foreign dinar note holders. It is set to reshape the very fabric of Iraq's economy and its society from the ground up. A newly empowered Iraqi population, now armed with a national currency that commands genuine global respect, will inevitably drive a massive surge in demand for all types of goods, services, and consumer products. This anticipated demand surge will not only drastically improve the daily lives of ordinary Iraqis but will also create entirely new, fertile markets for both domestic entrepreneurs and international companies looking to enter the region. The government, poised to benefit from both its substantial and secure oil wealth and the renewed global credibility of a strong, stable currency, will be uniquely positioned to launch infrastructure and national development projects on a scale unseen since the country's most prosperous historical years. New roads, modern schools, essential hospitals, upgraded energy grids, and large-scale housing developments could be built with a new level of efficiency and ambition. Finally, channeling Iraq's vast national wealth into tangible, visible improvements in the national quality of life. Simultaneously, foreign direct investment, FDI, is expected to flow into the country with unprecedented speed, highly attracted by the prospects of newfound stability, immense opportunity, and the potential for high returns in a rapidly expanding and hungry economy. Over the long term, this influx of capital and expertise would steadily transform Iraq into a powerful regional hub of growth, trade, and innovation, shifting the dominant global narrative from that of a conflict-torn nation to that of a rising and respected economic leader. In its entirety, the revaluation is designed not only to potentially reward the conviction of long-term investors, but also to decisively ignite a new and enduring chapter for Iraq itself, one defined by sustainable prosperity, significant regional influence, and hard-earned global respect. The reported $3 Iraqi dinar rate stands out as, without question, the most talked about and potentially transformative financial development in this specific currency's history. The astonishing idea that a single 25,000 dinar note, long viewed by many outsiders as a mere speculative curiosity, could suddenly be redeemed for an equivalent of $75,000, fundamentally redefines what is deemed possible at the complex intersection of global economics, determined national reform, and patient private investment. What makes this entire scenario so powerful and compelling is that its basis is not rooted in mere rumor alone, but appears to rest upon a foundation of years of careful groundwork. This includes rigorous fiscal reforms enacted under the advisory guidance of the IMF, the strategic introduction of the groundbreaking digital dinar technology, the planned, controlled rollout of lower denomination notes for exclusive domestic use, and the critical assurance that the existing large denomination international notes will be fully honored and redeemed abroad. Taken together, these interconnected elements form a coherent blueprint that signals not just the potential rebirth of a nation, but also a powerful validation of every single investor who maintained their conviction and held firm in their belief despite years of intense doubt and often harsh criticism. The economic foundation is reportedly complete. The logistical stage appears to be prepared, and the world's financial attention is now firmly focused on Iraq as it seemingly prepares to take this monumental step forward into a new economic future. While an element of uncertainty will always remain until an official, definitive announcement is made by the highest authorities, the clear momentum pushing this process forward is undeniable, and the possibilities for global economic and regional transformation are truly historic. For the nation of Iraq, this development represents a long-awaited and hard-earned return to economic dignity and influence. For the international investors who have waited, it represents what many believe to be one of the rarest, most unique opportunities in the landscape of modern finance. We at Dinar Daily will continue to bring you the very latest updates as this significant and evolving story unfolds.